Hi guys, welcome back to another thing with Risky and Captain. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and that is we're going to be talking, literally just talking. This is going to be a podcast-esque thing, probably going to be somewhere around an hour long. So if you guys don't care for that, I'm sorry. That's what you signed up for.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck with us. It's gonna happen.
Hopefully you're stuck with us.
No, they are stuck with us.
Oh, they are. So they have no say whatsoever. So this is a idea that we came up with literally probably a couple hours ago after recording another video that will be going up here shortly. Yeah. So what it is, what was we started talking and we really had a good conversation in the video, and so we're like, well, what if we did this? And so now we're doing this.
That's right. We are doing this, and it's gonna happen whether you like it or not, because you're watching.
That's gross.
Shh! Does that happen?
So, with this, we're going to be talking about things where it comes down to games, technology, anime. Even anime gets brought up. Trust me, anime gets brought up. Oh my goodness, yes. So, where did we leave off? I think we left off with Black Ops 3 and the whole Call of Duty campaign.
I'm pretty sure that's where we pretty much stopped at. Yeah.
So, I mean, it comes down to, and it comes down to personal preference. And I think I said, what was it? It was, I don't even understand why people don't like the Call of Duty games and why they bag so hard on it. And thinking back at it, I'm like, it does really have a really crappy multiplayer. The engine doesn't support anything, and just their campaigns aren't that great. And what? Oh, by the way, we're starting a match.
Awesome. See, I would disagree with their campaigns. I've played a few. Obviously, I started the very first one. I really, really enjoyed the very first Call of Duty game. I loved it, and that's what got me into Call of Duty. But as they went on, they just got eh. Like, I loved Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. It was great. 2 was great too, story-wise, but as when I started noticing, there was a lot of issues with their multiplayer, and that's what really cuts me off on that game, or shuts me out. The multiplayer is not that great. It's great when it works correctly, but the problem is half the time, the network code in it is just bad.
Yeah. And see, that was what was my problem with it. Is like I used to play it on the Xbox, so I never noticed any issues with like multiplayer and whatnot. Like I just thought it was just Xbox being bad. And then I watched my brother try and play online on my computers because he was using mine to play, and it was just bad.
Like, there is literally problems with the game where I've had these problems a lot in the past where I have decent internet and I'll be, say, back in Black Ops 1, I'd be chasing a guy. He's literally within like 5 feet of me and I'm shooting him with, say, the FAMAS in Black Ops 1. Unload 2 clips into the guy. It says I hit every hit, but nothing happens to the guy. He just takes the bullets like a champ. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then he turns around slowly, shoots me the pistol once, and I'm dead. It's like, but I just unloaded 2 clips into this guy. How did he kill me?
And that's where I get. Well, that's where I get into like, okay, maybe the damage specs aren't set up properly for weapons that are obviously a higher caliber, but it's just, I don't even know about guns and whatnot, so I don't know where I could even. You are. I don't even know where to begin on whether or not that is the case, and whether they're spec'd wrong or what have you, because in Rainbow Six Siege, it's supposed to be like a really good Call of Duty not Call of Duty game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I played a little bit of it, and it was kind of hard to get used to playing a shooter again, because I don't even remember the last time I played a shooter, to be honest. Especially a first-person shooter. Because here on my channel, I don't even have a first-person shooter video. Like, I have a third-person thing.
Excuse me. I just want to point out real quick I'm having some issues with my video, so I apologize in advance. I'm trying to kind of work on it as we're going in this video.
Oh, that makes sense. But what was it? It was, and then like the zombies. Did you ever? You never played the Black Ops 3 zombies, right?
I did not play the Black Ops zombies.
So the Black Ops 3 zombies, or not Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2 zombies was actually really, really good. I personally enjoyed them, and apparently they're coming out with a Season 2 pass for Black Ops 3, where they're coming out with all of the maps from Black Ops 2 and probably Black Ops 1 as a digitally remastered everything thing, which would just be awesome to see them do, because like personally I really enjoyed all of Black Ops 1 zombies and Black Ops 2.
See, like, don't get me wrong, I love the zombies up to Black Ops 2. I really enjoyed them. You may continue.
But it just like, so you have your normal transit, and then there was something else with transit in Black Ops 2 that I personally really liked. The story behind it was great, and if you actually dive deeper into the story behind all of the characters in Black Ops 2, it tells a very, very crazy tale of whatever zombies is at this time.
Alright, I think I got my video quality fixed. It seems to be running a lot smoother for me. But anyways, yeah, it does tell a pretty good story. The only problem I have with the Treyarch Call of Duty zombies and everything is I wish it wasn't, I won't say convoluted, but you kind of have to really look into the game to get the story out of it, because they really just don't go out and tell you. I would like if they actually came out with a just standalone Call of Duty Zombies, where that's literally just a straight Call of Duty Zombies campaign, that you literally just get a full fleshed out story. I would love that. See,
I personally, I really like the way they do the story in the zombies, and I wish that was what they did if they did a full on like zombies dedicated game, was a abstract story that you don't even have to get a story from it. Now, just give it a little bit more of a story, just to. We all missed it. But give it enough story to allow for everybody, or to allow for oh god, I lost my train of thought. Like, give it enough story for those who want a major story out of a game, or out of a zombies game, to get that necessary story that they wanted, instead of doing
what?
Instead of, I'm focusing on my train of thought, trying to find it. Instead of doing like a major campaign, because like, you know how I don't personally like the campaign. Like, I played Black Ops 1, and trust me, this is a kind of a strange tangent, but the campaign in Black Ops 1, I literally played through on veteran to the point where you start pushing the minecart, this minecart with this really big dude, and then I killed some guys, and then just was like, this is stupid. I don't like the campaign like at all. I actually didn't like any of the campaigns of any of the Call of Duty games, and when I got Black Ops 3, didn't even play it. Like, not even a second of it. I didn't even open it up at all. Like, my campaign in Black Ops 3 is just...
Oh, hey now.
Is completely empty, so... So, yeah, it's just like... Yeah, I don't even know. So, if they were to do something like that in a zombies game, I would phenomenally hate it. Like, it would just be... I wouldn't play it. Like, I need normal zombies. I want zombies to be zombies, not like some over-the-top story. Now, if you put a little bit more story into it, I'd still like it because, I mean, it's still zombies, so, I mean, it wouldn't matter.
See,
in my opinion,
did you leave? I did not leave.
Okay.
In my opinion, I would like it more if they did more along the lines of how Left 4 Dead did it, where it was a multiplayer game, but you had a clear objective of where you're supposed to go. There's an end of the level and a beginning of the level.
Oh, heck yeah.
Then you could get the story elements as you progress to the end of the level. I would love that. Even if they went that direction with it, I would love it. But still have that, say, the original Call of Duty Zombies experience as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing that you have to, when you go to incorporate a game about something, is you have to make sure you like incorporate it in a way that incorporates both what people like and something new to see what people will like. And by doing it that way would be a good way to introduce a new topic, is by like, this is what we know they like, and this is what we don't know they like, but what we don't know if they like is something that we need to experiment with. And I think that that's what they need to do is tread lightly into the waters of a zombies on its own game. If they do it ever, I hope they do.
I still say if they did, it would be a phenomenal game.
Oh yeah, even if they just made it just zombies, like the way it is now, just zombies. They had a bunch of maps, and they focused entirely on zombies multiplayer and solo game, or in solo. It would just be a much better game.
See, and that just brings down, it's like, I don't mind the Call of Duty Zombies aspect of Call of Duty, and I used to really love the stories that they did, starting from the original. I played the original for Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2. I even played Modern Warfare 3. Was not really impressed with that one, but it's just my main gripe is mainly the multiplayer aspect of the game. It's just too broken in my opinion.
Oh, hands down. The only thing I have to say about the multiplayer is the zombies multiplayer is actually done really well, and I don't know what it is that allowed for that, but it was done really well, and just overall, overall, it was just a...
You know, getting a little off topic, and this has to do with their competition, if you will. I can't say always loved, but ever since I played Battlefield 3, I've been a big fan of Battlefield, and I've always thought that it would be a great game to have a quote-unquote zombies mode for, but I would say not do it in the vein of how Call of Duty did it, but do their own thing with it where it's... I don't know how to say it, but have its own zombie mode, but it wouldn't be copy and paste of what Call of Duty did. I always thought it would be kind of cool if you say you beat the campaign and there's like an alternate ending which unlocks like a zombie campaign, which would be pretty cool. Like there was like a nuclear explosion or a biological weapon was released where it turns all the enemy soldiers into zombies or something, or all the dead soldiers. Or you could do the multiplayer where it was a actual multiplayer match, but you actually had to fight against zombies at the same time. I thought that would always be a cool idea to put into a game, where you're basically being attacked on two fronts constantly.
Now, what gets me is I don't remember if there. I want to say that there was a game similar to that where you're fighting against two different enemies, one that is an NPC and then one that is actual players, but I don't remember, and for the life of me, I couldn't tell you if there actually was, but I think that there was.
Now,
There was one because
Titanfall does something very similar, but it's basically
that's right. It
NPC
was
players
Titanfall
that are on each team. They're not their own team.
Oh, they weren't their own team?
Yeah. Whoop. I just realized while doing this that I've been trying to get the goal on the wrong side. I just realized I'm orange.
You're orange. I'm blue. Or no, I'm not. I'm orange. Never mind. Color schemes are. I'm bad with colors.
But yeah, so with Titanfall, it was you had AI teammates on each team, depending on what game mode you played. But I think it would be awesome to have just a ruthless AI-controlled team that was just zombies, where you basically both either had to fight against while fighting each other, or in certain situations you would have to help the enemy team, and the enemy team would have to help you to overcome said opposition.
Nah, man, I ain't about that life. I would ruthlessly let a enemy team person just outright just get eaten. And like I'd sit there at the end of the corridor and watch him get eaten.
Well,
and then after he got eaten, I'd blow the zombies' brains out. Like that's that. I would never work with the enemy team.
Well, I'm referring to like if say there's like a capture point you're trying to take over of, but say the zombie team can take it over as well, and it would makes it harder for each team to advance, where you'd have to help the enemy team wipe the enemy out before you guys can even think about it fighting each other.
Well, that would also insinuate that the zombies, whom would be undead, half-brained things, would have some sort of symbiotic, intelligent, or not in symbiotic, but in just some sort of intelligence.
Well, we're insinuating this is a multiplayer game where each team has a goal. So the enemy's goal is to take over the map and kill everyone. So, and my thought is like if it was a control point, basically, depending what the AI team would control is where they would spawn more of their zombies at. So say there's a control point in the middle of the map that the zombies try to take over, it would basically put them in between both of you where they can just spread in both directions instead of, say, starting at one area and working your way to you. They'd be attacking you on two fronts.
Another fun option would be to have a like actual player controlled zombies that would go after both teams and infect both teams, and their goal was to infect everybody else whilst everybody else is trying to capture points and prevent their team from getting
You definitely would have to have some type of balancing with that, because it would make it very one-sided for the zombie team, because if you're just infecting everyone, basically you get killed once you're infected, and it would end very quickly.
Well, I mean, that's why you have to work as a team to prevent that.
Well, here's the thing.
Would
you be working with the opposite team, or trying to work with your own team? Because in most games, people don't even use teamwork when it's even implied to use teamwork.
Well, see, and that's what's funny is because this actually segues greatly into this game. Is what we're doing now. We're playing Rocket League and team-based game, and we're getting our ass handed to us. Pardon my French, but we're definitely getting it handed to us on a silver platter. And not gonna toot my own horn, but I'm not helping anything. And it also didn't help that Captain just tried to score on our own team.
I'm using a keyboard and mouse. I'm not used to it at all. So I'm trying to do stuff.
How do you think I feel?
Great. I don't know.
I've legitimately played 4 games. I'm sorry, 4 games. This makes 4 on keyboard and mouse.
Well, this is my first on keyboard and mouse. So ha.
But it does. That doesn't make a good point. This helps solidify my point. Is like teamwork is insinuated on games, yet nobody does it because one, to be honest, there's no good chat aspect. There's no good way to segue into, or to not segue, but there's no good way to implement a chat system.
Yeah, I scored.
There we go. There's no good way to implement a chat system, except for, and I heard this, and I don't know if it's true, but apparently in Halo Wars 2, there's a text-to-speak aspect that they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop. I want to say millions of dollars to develop, just so that they can have if you don't have a mic, what somebody says gets put into the text chat, so that if you don't have a mic, you're not hindered in the ability to use your team. And also works backwards as a way to allow those who can't hear. So you have people who are deaf playing these games that can't use real communications. They can see the chat, but there's no chat going through because everybody's using a mic. Well, if everybody's using a mic and you have a text-to-speak aspect where it's what you say gets put into your text, whether it be everything you say or just when you use a certain key to type in what you want to say, instead of just typing it and then going back to the game, you can stay in the game and then just say what you're going to say, and it sends it in the overall chat, and you do that. So I don't know if that's actually true or not, but if it is, that'd be a system that Microsoft should hopefully share with the community to see what is possible.
Hey, it's my ball. You can't have it.
So, you got anything on that one, or can I segue into something else? Because I read up.
Segue into something else because once you changed into that, I had nothing to say.
Well, see, and I don't even know that could have been a good conversation, but you never know.
Because we were talking about the previous topic, and then you segued into the whole type to speak thing.
It was all about teamwork and the ability to.
Okay, that does remind me of something I was gonna bring up. Similar games have done some, I wouldn't say similar things, but something to try to alleviate the whole is to work as a team. Like with Battlefield, if you're in a squad, you can talk to your squad, but you can't talk to the people around you, which kind of hinders you because you have all what the people call the blueberries, which is everyone else not on your team, that is on your actual team, but you're not your squad. They can't hear you. And for a lot of games, I have yet to figure out how to even talk to the whole team. Even though you're quote-unquote supposed to be able to. Like, I've played the remakes of Medal of Honor, which they're supposed to have a voice and proximity, which still seemed to do nothing when I was trying to talk to people. But I don't know if many of you even remember this game, but I was really excited for it when it was announced for it on the PS3. It was a game called MAG. And it was the massive action game or something like that. It was up to 256 players depending on the map that you were on or the game type. And they had everything broke up into platoons, and each platoon answered to the one person at the top who basically was the team leader. And basically the platoon leader for each squad was to relay information to the team leader, and then the team leader would give off orders and so on and so forth. But even in that, when it was, in my opinion, broke up geniusly because every squad had a leader, and then every leader answered to the one main leader, if you will. But still, no one worked together, and I was like, you have this system in place that works excellent. So each person has a leader, and then you all answer to the one person who gives out the main orders, but still no one would listen to the main leader.
Because nobody wants to be not the leader. Everybody wants to be the leader, so when they're not, they don't care for what the leader says because it's not, they don't see it as their job. They don't see it as they should have to do anything other than what they want to do because it's not
what they want.
I don't know. Yeah, it's what they want. They want to have fun in their own way.
Which honestly is, if you're trying to play a game in a military game, and what I always do, I try to think of it as a military mindset of these are your commands, follow them kind of situation. But no one else really seems to do that. It's like I'm playing a game, I just want to have fun. It's like, and people don't seem to really understand if you work together as a collective group, you can still have fun, and if you work together, you can still win. And that's the main point of the game, is you're playing to win. And if you play as a group and you actually listen to other people's ideas, listen to the person who's in charge, you may not have great ideas, but still you can put your input in. You can still help your team win, which a lot of times it seems no one wants to, so it's just a giant cluster blank, and you still end up losing.
Oh, yeah.
Because case in point, there's been many times I've played with family members, my brothers, playing like Battlefield or whatever. We're trying to take this objective and keep advancing our team. Well, everyone's still just hanging around the past objective we've already caught. It's like, well, we have 3 people here trying to advance while everyone else is still stuck trying to capture or hold a point we've already taken over.
Yeah, it's a giant Charlie Foxtrot.
A giant Charlie Foxtrot.
That's an Air Force term if you didn't know.
You're an Air Force term.
I had a friend whose father was in the Air Force, and he used it in my Chem 2 class all the time to explain when things hit the fan and never were good.
No!
I was in there on that too. Oh my goodness. But that also segues into my what was it? It was I guess it doesn't really segue into anything. I thought it did. I had a thought, but I just let you continue, and I don't even know.
We drifting.
So even if it doesn't actually segue into it really good anyway, is you know, like anime Clockwork Planet?
Yes, we were talking about this earlier. I'm enjoying it. I really am. I've only seen up to episode 4. I believe that's all they have out so far, and it's really interesting. I like the aspect of how everything is just controlled by gears, and they even bring that up in the anime about how it's weird that the person who came up with the idea, that's what they used, was gears for everything.
Well, what's funny is they even say in the anime that it is it's a system that's not meant to last forever. It was never meant to last for as long as it did, and now that it's, spoilers alert, falling apart, it's kind of making it hard for them to.
Oop! Tried to score on the wrong goal again. No. As they put it in the story, that takes place 1,000 years after this entire world has basically been turned into a planet of gears. And as you know, everything ages, and nothing is meant to last.
Well, except these gears like have phenomenal they're in immaculate condition for 1,000 years. So.
Well, you got to think though, there's probably been repairs done over the course of time. Obviously.
I'm sure there has, and I'm sure. Just because they look immaculate doesn't mean that they're not actually like rusting away and whatnot. But
exactly.
I mean, I still think I'd like to believe that it's like that they've just been that way and they never had to do any repairs of any sort.
Yeah, it's always nice to believe that. I'm looking at.
It's nice to have a pipe dream.
It is. I'm looking at the score now, and we are doing absolutely terrible, and I'm not helping at all.
Oh yeah, neither have I.
But on the subject of anime, I talked to you about this a little bit earlier, talking about the anime One Piece, and as I said, it's like when I was a kid, I remember this being shown on, like, say, Fox Kids, if anyone knows what that is, and whoever's watching this, it was old Saturday morning cartoons in the late 90s and early 2000s, and I could never really get into the show, because I just couldn't stand the art style, and I watched an episode 2 and I just could not get into it. But I had a bunch of people where I live now that were telling me how great it was and how the story was so great. How the creator of the series, say, easily 10 years into it, and he said he's not even halfway done with the story arc for the whole series. And I find that ridiculously crazy that you've been doing this for 10 or more years and you're not even halfway done with your series. That is ridiculous. And from what I've seen with having to do with animes and mangas, a lot of them are kind of a one-shot thing where they have a story they tell and that's it. They're done.
So
they usually don't do any more with it. Hey, look, Dead Mouse.
To those of you watching my perspective of this, it just stopped on something because I wanted to do a look at how it, and this thing is actually 20. Well, yeah, it's 20 years in July. It's been going on for 20 years in July, and they've got well over 700 chapters, I think. Or no, that's episodes. They have well over 700 episodes. My bad.
Wait. One Piece has been going on for 20 years?
Yeah, 20 years. July 19th, they will have had...
Alright, pardon my language, but are you fucking kidding me? 20 years and not even halfway done? Is this guy going to be another 20 years before he's done with his series?
And get this, though. The anime film is... Let me see here. It is July 26th, and it's a 20... that's episodes, I think. Yeah, like, looking at this, it's beyond me. I don't even know how they could be still going on. And did I get kicked?
No, you are in the game, it says. But
okay.
After hearing that, I didn't realize how long it had been going on, but that is ridiculous to be going on for 20 years and not even be halfway done with your story. That is ridiculous. Hey, you blew me up.
Yeah, get boomed.
And like they've done movies, or at least straight to DVD at least, movies for the series, and I hear the series is pretty ridiculous as it goes up in age. It gets ridiculous. But
I've heard that it's actually really, really good past like episode 700 and something.
And
I kid you not, I've heard that it's really good. And I'm just like, you have to wait 700 episodes to actually get good anime. Wow.
I wouldn't say you had to wait, because I know a lot of people who've been reading it or watching it for a long time. They love every minute of it. But as I was trying to say, coming from someone who lives in the U.S. and say obviously we have comic book series that say we have superheroes and everything, and those get rebooted every so many years. But to have one thing going on constantly for 20 years, that just boggles my mind. We can't even
have it be
TV
the same
shows
thing
that really last that long outside of soap operas, which basically just repeat themselves anyway.
Simpsons.
And I've heard Simpsons is starting to repeat itself, honestly. But I haven't watched that in years either.
Since when didn't it repeat itself? It's the same concept.
I'm talking about, like, I've heard of episodes basically just being redone again.
Oh, I'm sure they've redone concepts of episodes
and then,
multiple
of course,
times.
Yeah, on the same subject. Hey, let's keep on Halo. We have these series that don't even get a chance at all that were just really good, like Futurama. It was canceled, I think, 2 years originally, and then they brought it back for 2 or 3 more seasons, and then Comedy Central canceled it again. It's like, you have this series that is really good, but it doesn't meet the station's standards of views, because everything's based on views and how many views they get on their channel, the amount of advertisements and blah blah blah.
Now get this though, it's not. And what's funny is they base their rating systems still off of the rating systems from when there was only 5 channels to watch in the 30s and 40s, when people only watched one channel, and so you had 50 million people watching one channel. They still base their rating systems off of that. So if they're not getting a lot of views on their channel, and they don't take into account that better shows are on, like NCI. So what was it? It was Magicians. Magicians was canceled for a half a season.
Seriously, so for half a season?
Yeah. What they did was they delayed it by a half the season to accommodate for the fact that there are other shows. They pretty much said that it wasn't coming back, and then when they got an outstanding amount of people who hated that idea, hated it. Like, people roasted what was it, Sci-Fi, I believe, all over Twitter, all over social media. They just couldn't stand the idea that Magicians didn't come back. And I was with them. Magicians was a phenomenal show. If you've not seen Magicians season 1, I highly recommend it. You can watch it on sci-fi.com. They have it streaming there. You can watch it on Hulu, Netflix. Season 2 just finished, and like 13 episode seasons is not a bad amount of episodes to watch. to get a really good story arc.
To minorly interrupt you, I never could get in the show because I watched like the trailer before it came out, and it just did not seem very interesting to me. But I keep hearing people talk about it and how great it is, and it kind of makes me want to check it out now, honestly.
See, I was in high school when I heard that it wasn't coming back. Like, I watched the first season before I graduated, and then I heard it wasn't coming back, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. All of my friends when I was in high school, all of them were like, wait, what? When I was like, because I thought that it would say, because it said that it wasn't coming back, and then the massive uproar that it caused by them saying it wasn't coming back, the massive uproar just caused it just to grow in popularity, and people actually understood, like, watched it, and were like, okay, why is this being canceled? This is actually a really good show. After the fact, like, people watched it after the fact to find out why it was being canceled, and I just scored on ourselves.
That kind of brings me to another example of stuff that was canceled. I don't know if you've seen it, but I grew up watching a show called X-Files. That was one of my absolute favorite shows to watch as a kid in the 90s.
It was a little bit out of my time. I've heard of it. I've not watched it.
It was an amazing show, and they were on 9 seasons when they canceled it. And the creator had gone on record and said, I think he had said he had at least ideas for, I think, 10 more seasons before they'd canceled it. And it was just a really good show. They got to, like, a big, like, major story, I wouldn't say arc, event, if you will, about how there was, like, they'd just kind of came to the understanding that there was, at a certain time, kind of plays into the whole Mayan calendar thing, the whole 2012 thing, like everyone flipped out about that. In 2012, there was supposed to be a major alien colonization that was supposed to hit Earth, and that was like this big, ended up being the series finale because they canceled it, and it was like, wait, what happens next? You canceled it, and then you just make this giant reveal.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? In the words of Sheldon Cooper, they did it to Firefly as well. They ended it they canceled it, and
Firefly was their own damn fault. They aired every single episode out of order, and they canceled it because they didn't get the views they wanted. But you can't blame the show if you play all the episodes out of order. And if you give me a second, I can literally pull out my DVD right now, and I can tell you what episodes they aired in what order, because they did not even start with the first episode when they aired it. They started with like the second or third one because they liked it better.
I will actually give you. I can do you one better. I'll pull up Wikipedia right now.
I was
2002 to 2003 is what it says.
Yeah.
Episode. Original air date. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Yes, I scored. But yeah, they aired every episode out of order, and then they wonder why it didn't get very many views. On top of changing the time slot, it's like people are confused. They don't know what's going on. You keep changing when the continuity is, because you don't start with the first episode. You start with the second or third, and then you're trying to figure out why people don't know or understand what's going on, because it's your own fault. And this series was great. I bought it years later, because when I was growing up, I was still like maybe 8, maybe 9, no, closer to 13, because you said 2002, 2013, or 2002 to 2003. Parents were kind of strict, and I wasn't allowed to watch it. So years later, I bought it. I was like, how did this get canceled? This show is just great. And then when they released the Serenity movie, I watched it, and I absolutely loved it. It was just so freaking good.
Okay, episode 1 aired on... That's weird. Oh, original air date, December 20th. Wait, what?
If you're looking at the dates, yeah.
Yeah, this is actually really insane. So original air date for episode 1 was December 20th, 2002. Episode 2 was September 20th, 2002. So they didn't air episode 1 till after they had aired the first, looks like 10 episodes. And then episode 11 through 14 doesn't air until... and episode 14 airs December 13th. So they aired episode 14 before they aired episode 1.
Can you see how people got confused watching that show?
Oh yeah, hands down. And that actually makes perfect sense.
Put this in perspective. This is a Joss Whedon series, and he is a big name in Hollywood, especially right now. Like, he did Buffy, he did Angel, and people loved those series. He's even done stuff for Marvel. He even really helped, I think, honestly, Marvel movies get on the map because of his direction that he helped them with in the directing. Like, he did Avengers. I love that movie. I think it's great. A lot of people don't like it. I love it. But
I personally think that Marvel movies could do a little better.
They could. They really could.
If I have to be honest, what was it? It was Age of Ultron was just god awful. I sat through that movie. I was like, this is not right. This is not what happened. Why?
I disagree that it being awful, because I know they changed a whole lot of stuff to it. But I was able to enjoy it as an entertainment standpoint, which is kind of a hit and miss topic for me, because there's times where I can't get past that they changed the continuity or what actually happened in, say, like the comics. And then there's times if you can do it if you can do it well, it doesn't bother me. Like case with Batman v Superman, they changed it obviously, because in the original Batman v Superman it had to do with the Dark Knight series, and Superman's forced to fight Batman because, you know, he's getting in the way.
Yeah.
But I loved that movie. I don't care what anyone says. If you can't understand what's going on in the movie, you really did not pay attention to it, or you're just super biased to it. Because it was a good movie. I will not say there was not problems with the movie at all. There are some problems with the movie.
And you had to get the extended cut just to understand some of those problems. Not even all of them. Just some of them. And you gotta understand, though, they originally started with 5 hours of film. And then they cut it down to 2.5.
I think it was Warner Brothers told them to cut it down even further. They originally, the cut that Zack Snyder wanted to do was the extended cut, which was 3 hours, and they made him cut it down even further to 2.5. Which, and I admit, there are some plot holes in the movie, but you have 2.5 more hours of movie that no one has seen that could explain even a lot of the problems that people say they had with it.
You know what gets me though? Is that outside, like, I've never understood why people, like, why movies, like, you go to the movies to watch something incredibly long.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you expect to be there for at least 2 hours. So why not be like, okay, we're going to push the envelope a little bit and make it a 3-hour movie or a 4-hour movie. Like, I would love to have seen, like, the Harry Potter series. The Harry Potter series, what was it? It was the last one. I'm blanking on the name of it.
It was Deathly Hallows.
The Deathly Hallows, part 1 and part 2. Why didn't you just release it in a 5-hour movie? The whole series is like 3-hour-long movies anyway. Or the Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is known for being a very long movie. It's like what? Its normal runtime is 3 hours, I think.
See, the problem is a lot of people in Hollywood believe that people won't sit in a movie for a certain length of time, and I've always said if the movie is good enough, someone will sit there and watch it if it's good enough. And if you cut out a bunch of content that makes the movie flow better, or you can actually understand the movie, people aren't going to watch it. By the way, did you quit the game?
No, it kicked me for being idle.
Okay, do you want me to back out, or are you going to join on me?
You can do whatever you want. I'm actually using Wikipedia right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Trying to find out how long the original movie was.
Like, case in point, Watchmen. I love that movie, and some people don't like it, some people love it. The movie, theatrical cut, I think it was like 2, maybe 2.5 hours. The director's cut, on the other hand, is like 3 hours long, and it's great. And then like the ultimate cut is like 4 or 5, because they incorporate the Tales of the Black Freighter, which plays into the comic series. It's a little mini comic they did within the comic, and I'm not gonna lie, don't really need it for the story. It's kind of like a side thing, but it's still enjoyable. But honestly, if I was gonna watch Watchmen, I'd watch the director's cut, because I don't need Tales of Black Freighter in there. But still, with the director's cut, excellent movie. 3 hours long, but an excellent movie. And while we're on the topic of Zack Snyder movies, I don't understand why people don't like his movies so much. And a lot of people's like, well, he ruined the movie, he ruined this, he ruined that. I'm like, you do understand that he's not the person who writes the movie. Someone else does that. He is just the director. Now, he gives some direction, but he's not the one who wrote the story. If you look at his movies, the directing style he does, they look amazing. Like watching Batman v Superman or Man of Steel, without calling it camcorder view, because I hate camcorder view, it literally feels like you are there while the movie's happening. But it's not shaky or like a camcorder view. It's not, doesn't seem raw like camcorder view either. I don't know how to describe it. It feels cinematic, but at the same time, it feels like you're actually there witnessing it happening. It's just amazing. And the cuts that he does are great too.
If you want to look into a movie that I thought was decent camcorder view, it was Chronicle.
Chronicle wasn't bad. As I said, I'm not a big fan of camcorder views because I prefer a stable camera instead of it shaking everywhere.
Oh yeah,
another movie I liked, but I hate camcorder views, so it kind of ruined it a little bit for me. Cloverfield. I liked Cloverfield, but part of me couldn't get over the whole camcorder view thing for it. I thought it was a pretty cool concept, at least. And if people want to bring it up, no, I've never seen Blair Witch, and I have no desire to.
Yeah, so this even further solidifies my standing on why they don't do longer movies. Lord of the Rings 2, or Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, the Two Towers, and then the Return of the King. Fellowship of the Ring was 178 minutes, 208 minutes extended cut with an additional 228 with additional credits. So it was 20 minutes longer with additional credits. It was 120 or 179. Two Towers was 179 with a extended cut of being 223, with 235 being the additional credits. Return of the King, when it aired, was 200 minutes long. That is over 3 hours. I think that's over 3 hours by 20 minutes. So that's almost 3.5 hours. I don't know why they didn't do this more. And those movies all brought in December 11th, 2001, brought in worldwide $871 million, $530,324. Enough to make another movie on a budget of $93 million. They took their money and just added a zero. So overall, they added a zero to all of the movies. Overall budget for those three movies was $281 million, and they brought in $2,917,506. Sorry, I messed up.
So let's just put it this way: they brought in close to $3 billion on those movies alone.
Yeah, they brought in 10 times their money. They did what most people want to do but can't do.
Look at Marvel. Look how many movies they had to do to get close to that.
Oh yeah, and they did this in 3 movies with a budget of $281 million. If you look at Marvel's movie series, and let me see if I can pull that one up too.
Which gets me on another topic, similar, obviously, with the DC movies. Love them or hate them, in the few movies that they've done in their new extended universe, they're extremely close to what Marvel has done in their lifetime already. Like, I think Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad, I think they did a third of what all the movies for Marvel has done so far. That says a lot. And honestly, I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. I think there's a lot of bias toward DC. And as I said, that's just my opinion, because I've watched Marvel movies and I've watched DC movies, and for the most part, I enjoy both of them. I really like the DC movies, and certain Marvel movies I really like. Guardians of the Galaxy is an excellent example. I really like both of them.
Oh my god, I loved Guardians of the Galaxy.
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2 yet?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't.
No, actually, yeah, we can.
I'm not a big fan of some of the changes they did to it with Star-Lord's father, of what they changed it to from being Ego to what it was supposed to be. Because the director didn't really like the character himself. But at the same time, I still enjoyed the movie immensely. And it didn't bug me so much. Like, as I've said in previous conversation we already had, if you can change the origin or the history of a character, but still make it good, I'm fine with it. But if you change it into something stupid that doesn't even make sense, or is even entertaining, that's where I have a problem. As with Age of Ultron, I liked it. I don't really like how they changed the history of the characters of how Ultron came to be, but overall I enjoyed the movie. Civil War, on the other hand, don't even get me started. I do not like that movie at all. It is terrible, in my opinion. Anyways, get back to what you're talking about.
So I can't find runtimes on those on Marvel movies, but Marvel has done. They netted $2.79 billion, and it took them, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15. It took them 15 movies to do that. And if you look at the budgets they had 140 million on. They had $140 million on Iron Man, and the Incredible Hulk, the one that I actually really liked personally, $150 million. Only brought in on Iron Man $585,176,222. Incredible Hulk barely scraped by with $163.427 million.
Now, I'm going to interject here for a little bit, and you've got to understand that with Iron Man, that's what really kick-started everything, and it really did, honestly. They picked an amazing actor for Tony Stark, because honestly, I could not see anyone else playing Tony Stark outside of Robert Downey Jr. Hulk, on the other hand, I enjoyed the movie immensely, but it doesn't seem like very many people really know the Hulk very much, which I think is their problem. They don't really advertise Hulk too much. He's not one of the mainstay characters, in my opinion. Granted, you see him a lot in, like, say, cartoons or whatever, but not a lot of people, in my opinion, watch the Marvel cartoons. You mainly hear about the DC cartoons, how they're everywhere. Marvel, on the other hand, they're more toward their comics and their movies now. And even that, I don't really hear much in the way of Marvel stuff. Granted, there are the big fans out there, but still, Hulk's kind of by the wayside nowadays.
So being somebody who doesn't have, like, I don't have TV. I usually watch most everything on the internet. I don't, like, really get commercials and stuff about any, like, Marvel movies. Mostly it's car commercials on YouTube and whatnot. I don't really get any of those things. And so, like, I don't know much about, like, any of the cartoons. The only one I remember from a long time ago was it was a DC one. It was Young Justice.
Ah, yes, Young Justice. Great series. Took me forever to watch it. I didn't watch it until it was finally on Netflix for, like, a couple months to a year. And then I finally got convinced to watch it. It was great. It was so freaking good.
Yeah, it's just, and I completely agree. I just phenomenal. I loved Young Justice. The only thing is, I can't tell if Young Justice if it was in order on Netflix, because I watched it back when I did have Netflix, and I don't remember it too well. I want to say it wasn't in order.
I believe it is. At least now it is.
Then I don't know if I missed episodes or if they're missing episodes on their end, because it just seemed like it went by too quickly. Like,
I think there's only a total of 24 episodes.
Then it might have just been my young brain or my younger self remembering there being more, but I don't know. Did you know that they already have Spider-Man Homecoming 2 slated out for 2019?
I did not know that. I really.
They haven't even put out Spider-Man: Homecoming, the first one, until they are, but they already have it slated for July 5th, 2019. They already have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on here saying it's in development. They're actually filming right now. Now, get this, they're filming Avengers Infinity War.
That's not even the title of it anymore. I don't even know what the title is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they changed the title on it. But
when was this?
About last year, I want to say. They said they were going to change the title on it. But this, to me,
That's
hate
weird.
me for it, I don't care. This shows what Disney and Marvel believe, is they don't care. They just assume that their movies are going to do well. Which, honestly, it kind of bugs me because a lot of people just go out in droves to the movies. And even if they're okay, everyone just seems to just rave about their movies of how great they are. Even if they're okay. And I think it has to do a lot with the Marvel, I'm going to call it the Marvel syndrome, of where we've seen all these movies, we're invested, don't care what happens, we enjoy this movie, we don't care. We don't care if it's good or bad. We like it because it ties into another movie, which really bugs me. Like,
they also have slated for May 3rd, 2019, an untitled Avengers film. That's what it's called right now, but
like
they're still kind of working on that one.
Case in point with what I said with Civil War, I've enjoyed all their movies up until Civil War, and I did not like that. And everyone I know and their mom just raves how amazing of a movie Civil War was, and I can not enjoy the movie because, in my opinion, there's just too many plot holes with it. But everyone else is saying how it's like at the time was like the best superhero movie, the best one, and now they're saying Logan's the best new superhero movie. Like, there's so many problems with Logan. It just doesn't even make any sense to me with the things.
I'm going to give a 3-minute warning. We have 3 minutes left in this podcast, guys. So, yeah, just wanted to put that one out there. If you like what we've done so far, just go ahead and hit the like on that one. You can continue as well. I'm just giving a 3-minute warning.
My main problem with the Logan movie is I read the original Old Man Logan series, and what they basically did is they took the characters, or the likeness of characters, ripped them from the comic, and then placed them into a whole new scenario, and a lot of it did not make any sense. With the whole point with Logan apparently getting sick and poisoned by the adamantium made no sense whatsoever. He's lived with this his entire life, and who knows how long he's lived. I don't even think they've ever said how long he's lived. And he has his healing factor. Well, if he's being poisoned by the metal, you would think his healing factor would automatically counteract that because his healing factor is very quick as it is. 2, what they did with Caliban, it's literally just Hawkeye's costume, everything, and then they just replaced Hawkeye with Caliban because they do not have the rights to Hawkeye. And they completely took everything away that made Old Man Logan amazing. They took away the villains took over the entire world, and how the U.S. was split up into groups that were controlled by a different supervillain. The Kingpin controlled one section. Red Skull took over the entire, eastern seaboard. He was the quote-unquote president. And the Hulks
Presidente Red Skull
took over the entire area where Logan's family was living. Yeah, he had a family.
Canada.
He had a family, not Canada. It was actually the U.S. He had,
really?
I think it was 2 kids and a wife in this story, and they completely threw that away.
According to, and now I'm gonna throw this oddball year out there. I'm thinking it was the 1910 area, is when he really started getting about, because if you watch the what was it? It was Wolverine origin story. They go through the war and whatnot. So they go through both great wars, Vietnam, Korea, and some others, and then they finally get to where they're at now. And so I want to speculate somewhere around the early 1900s is when he would have started. But
you got to understand, 20th Century Fox owns the rights to the movie. characters in the movies, so they kind of do whatever they want with the movies. And they've pretty much done that from the start. They pretty much take ideas or characters from the comic books, rip them out, and just throw away source material.
Oh no, I completely agree with that. I have seen it happen
really
multiple
bugs me.
times.
Is like, I would have loved if they made a deal with Marvel for just this movie alone if they just did Old Man Logan justice. Because it would have been amazing. Because in the story
it would
they
have been
have
a really good way to send that character out. Even if they ended it the way they did, it would have sent the character out with justice instead of sending him out with a pseudo set story and this, that, and another. And it's just you got to do the character justice, and you got to do Hugh Jackman justice in his character, and let him end it in a canon way instead of just like having this this crappy way of ending it. But unfortunately, guys, this is where we're going to call it quits for the day.
Can I say one more thing before we end it?
Go.
I highly recommend you read the Old Man Logan comic, the original one, because the twist in that is so much better than the quote-unquote twist that you get in the movie, because they don't even tell you what happened that led up to the events of this. In the comic, they tell you what happened in that version of it, and I won't say it's brutal, but it's like, are you kidding me? This is what happened? This is why he decided to live his life this way after this? It was great. It was freaking amazing. All right, go ahead.
So, guys, this is where we're gonna end the video, or I guess the podcast. Soon to be video. It will only be a video for the time being. We'll work on getting a live system set up for us to do a live podcast so that you guys can listen in while we're actually thinking of these things, and post it as a video afterward. So for now, if you guys liked it, go ahead and like it. If you didn't like it, please like it anyway, and just give us something to talk. Comment below what you want us to talk about in the next episodes or in the next podcasts. If you're watching from Captain's perspective, come give my channel some love. And if you're watching from mine, give his channel some love. Both links will be in the descriptions below. Do not forget to check both out. We both post content. I post regularly. He posts whenever he gets a chance to. And it's just
job, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah, we both have busy schedules, and I do what I can to post regularly. So, again, leave a like, subscribe, and until the next time, guys, stay frosty.
All right, have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll have more of these up soon. Have a good one, guys.